Morning. Okay, I had some technical issues getting in there. So it's Friday, 27th of November. Welcome to Compassionate Response to COVID-19 with Mark Bodie. I thought, really struggling actually in my brain this morning. I think I just did quite a lot yesterday of sort of trying to fix my website. Still really good progress, and then I went backwards with it. Like technical issues, it wouldn't work, and then I made more I clawed it all back again, and then that it stopped working again. So I think it just did my brain in a little bit, and then I watched some Queen's Gambit last night and a couple of episodes of that till quite late, really. But I was just trying to technical effects on my brain and all that. Anyway, so here we are, and it was one of those days where I just thought in the last sort of like 10 minutes, what can I do? Just looking in my book of puja readings, and so the reading I came across was the one about all beings are potentially Buddhas. So this is Buddhanature, the Buddhanature doctrine. So in the reading, I just explain that when it says Tathagata, that means the Buddha. Tathagata means thus gone one. I suppose it's hard to. The Buddha's talked about as the trackless one. So it's a bit like what that's saying is that he's gone beyond us being able to really kind of sum him up, in our own experience, in our own unenlightened. So being kind of informed, being ourselves informed by greed, hatred, and delusion, which he doesn't have any of. We just get it wrong all the time. So we sort of, so it's just to say the trackless one is like kind of being honest about, well, we don't really know what a Buddha's like. Well, we do know what a Buddha's like in terms of like his qualities of compassion and wisdom and all that sort of thing, but in terms of like really encompassing Buddha in our own experience, it's beyond his experiences is way beyond ours. If we're honest, that's it. So when it says the Tathagata, the thus gone one, it's referring to something that's it's gone beyond our normal kind of way of being or something like that. Then the Jinnah or Jinnas, Jinnah just means conqueror. It's an epithet for the Buddha, and suchness, it's the same thing as Tathagata, really. It's a way of sort of saying, well, we can't, it's not like the Buddha is fixed in a certain sort of way, it's not like again, it's a way of saying he's beyond. So and with the Tathagata Garbha, which means the Buddhanature doctrine, there are some problems in a way. It's like, well, the main problem, there's problems with everything really, but the main problem with seeing that there's a Buddha within or something like that is that we think, oh, I don't need to do anything. I can just sit back and somehow the Buddha will emerge or in me or something like that. So, but I think it was meant to be a corrective maybe to people who had too little faith that they could get anywhere, So that would be the thing that would correct that, wouldn't it? If you said, oh yeah, no, there's a Buddha within, if you really thought that there's no possibility of getting enlightened, then that would be a helpful to bring about. And I think maybe I don't know exactly when the Buddhanature doctrine came about. It was probably about 10th century or something like that. Around then, I would give or take 3 centuries. But I think that time there was this view that the Dharma had become too hard to practice or something like that. So it fits, really. The age of Mappo, the age of decadent Dharma sort of thing. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to read read the text from the Gotra Vivaga. All beings are potentially Tathagatas. It has been said in a sutra, therefore, Sariputra, the world of beings is not a thing, and Dharma body another, that's Dharmakaya. The world of beings is just the Dharma body. The Dharma body is just the world of beings. Objectively, they are not two. The distinction lies in words only. And the element of Tathagatahood, as it is present in all, is immutable and cannot be affected by either defilement or purification. In spite of the adventitious faults and because of the virtues essential to its nature, the nature of Dharma remains immutable, the same in former and in subsequent states. Like the Buddha in a faded lotus flower, like honey covered by a swarm of bees, like the kernel of a fruit in the husk, like gold within purities, like a treasure hidden in the soil, the fruit in a small seed, the image of the jinnah in tattered garments. So is this element established in beings who are covered with the stains of adventitious defilements. Suppose that gold belonging to a man on his travels had fallen into a place full of stinking dirt. As it is indestructible by nature, it would stay there for many hundreds of years. A deity with a pure heavenly eye would see it there and say to people, when I have cleansed this gold, the most precious substance of all, I will bring it back to its precious state. Just so, the great sage, when he has seen the virtue in beings, sunk as they are in defilements which are like filth, in order to cleanse off the mud of these defilements, rains down the rain of the Dharma on all that lives. The Dharma body should be known as twofold, the completely immaculate element of Dharma, and its outpourings, the demonstration of the principle of Dharma, in its depth and in its variety. Being immutable in its essential nature, lovely and pure. To a golden disc has this suchness been compared. The state of the self-existent can, in the ultimate sense, be approached only by faith, for those who have no eyes cannot see the blazing disc of the sun. So we'll just do a little bit of seated warm-up, physical warm-up. So give your hands a bit of a massage. So rotating your wrists like this. And try and have your spine as upright as possible as you're doing this. And choose whether to go slowly or quickly, or have large circles or small circles. So we're looking for waking up our spine. Just rub your hands together. Then just twisting to the right. And hold it there. And the other way. So it's Samatha Bhavana this morning. So just remembering what the Metta Bhavana is. So Bhavana means development, and Metta, METTA, means loving kindness, or we might say universal loving kindness. So it's the care and concern for the welfare of ourselves and for others, other beings. So Metta Bhavana implies that this is something that can be developed and strengthened. So it has three basic qualities or attributes. So it's by definition it's universal. So because all beings want to be well and not suffer, it's kind of written into their kind of code, really. You know, every being is looking for some sort of fulfillment, meaning, avoidance of suffering, pleasure, that sort of thing. And it's also, as well as being universal, it's unlimited. So with any emotion, metta is an emotion. You can feel that emotion strongly or weakly. Like you can want a new computer a lot, you can be obsessed by it, or you can be mildly interested in it. So it's like this concern for our own and others' welfare can be weak, or it can be really strong. And in a case of a Buddha, it can be kind of almost like infinite in extent, unlimited in its strength. So in a way, it's the fuel that sort of motivates us to do things, to actually bring about happiness for ourselves and others, meaning and stuff like that, is that we really strongly want it for ourselves and also for others. And thirdly, it has the attribute of being unconditional. So it's like we're not, we don't care for ourselves or another in order to get something back. It is its own reason. We do it because this is what beings need. That they need to be cared for. So settling into your posture. Just allow your spine to be upright. And just letting your body just sit there. It's reflecting that it knows how to sit down. Doesn't need any help from your mind to hold it up. That'll just introduce tension into your experience. So we begin with ourselves in this meditation, cultivating metta towards ourselves. So creating a bit of a space to bring our life into consideration. Maybe, one thing we need to have a sense of is what happiness is for us. So just looking back through your life and identifying times when things were going really well for you, or the best that they have. Things came together. What was that like? What was going on at the time? Were you with certain people? Were you on your own? Was there a sense of connectedness and ease and flow? Maybe it was a new situation, exciting new situation. So yeah, just kind of identifying, bringing that to mind, that time. And as we try and bring this time to mind, just trying to put to one side anything that might get in the way of considering this happy time, sort of we kind of feel resentful that things are not like that now. Well, don't do that, don't go there. Just try to get some emotional impetus behind wanting that kind of experience to come back again. Doesn't matter whether it's within your control or not. The important thing is to bring it into focus. May we be well. If we can't imagine where it is that we want to go, it's very unlikely we're going to get there. If we can imagine it, then it's a question of working out the conditions that we need to bring into place to get there, to bring that about. So Buddhism talks about joy or priti as a kind of welling up of energy, of excitement. And the image is in the second dhyana is of a deep lake. And into the bottom of the lake is coming this stream that's bringing in this kind of cool, fresh water. So it's like the psyche is being kind of replenished from below. It's kind of something is welling up inside. So can we kind of remember this sort of feeling? And then there's bliss or sukha in meditation. And the third dhyana, that's the images of a load of lotus flowers immersed in water. So I think this image says something like, well, there's been this kind of opening up, lotus flowers open up, a kind of flourishing. And water often represents the unconscious. So this is like, it's almost like this flourishing goes right deep into the unconscious. So it's like, it's not like we're anticipating happiness. It's like happiness has arrived. And there's a kind of deep peacefulness within us and satisfaction. May I be well. And then just remembering the aspect of metta, which is about strength, about unlimited strength. Is there a way in which we can encourage that emotion to be stronger? Yeah, it's not just a superficial little kind of wish that's fragile. It's a kind of deeper urge deep in our consciousness to move in the right direction. We might even imagine that, if it's helpful, that we're stood behind ourselves, pushing ourselves from behind in the direction of happiness. So that we don't veer off, don't forget about it. And sometimes we have to give this time. This is what happens when we go on retreat or something like that. We just give ourselves much more time for these basic, important things to dawn on us, that we need happiness, we need fulfillment. And to start to want to bring it about. And be a bit less passive about it. We're not just waiting for it to happen to us, but kind of moving forward into the future with some sense of purpose. May I be well. In second stage, we move our attention over to somebody who's a friend. A good friend who's roughly the same age, we don't have a kind of complicating sexual attraction to or romantic attraction to. There's a friend. And bringing to mind what might be for them a fulfilling, satisfying state. It might be that their personality is different to ours, and maybe we want something different. Maybe they're an adventurer. We're not particularly adventurers. They want stimulation and excitement. Maybe we want connection or something like that. So just working out what your friend is really looking for in life. Giving it a bit of time. No rush. And if we have developed some momentum in our meditation, not losing that momentum, but directing it towards them. Really wanting them to be well. Imagine pushing them from behind towards happiness. And trying to get as much of ourselves behind that as possible. It's not just a superficial little fragile wish, but something coming from deep within us that really wants something to happen for them. May they be well. And just bringing to mind those images again of joy, the upwelling stream, or a stream that's welling up into the bottom of a lake, bringing sort of refreshment and inspiration as if from outside. So imagining this experience within our friend and the image of the lotuses in the water. So imagining that our friend has kind of got somewhere in life in terms of has unfolded and is feeling a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. So wishing that on them. Sort of this deep peace and fulfillment. Trying to make this wish come from like deep within us, maybe coming from down in our belly or something like that, you know, like a real kind of gut response to our friend that we just want them to be well. And ultimately bringing the image from the reading to mind. We want them to be, that goal to be revealed within them, beyond the dirt. May they be well. So originally when the Buddha taught a metabhavana, he just said radiate love out in all directions to all beings, large or small, near or far, omitting none. You know, as a mother has love for her only child, you know, have such love, concern for all beings everywhere. So just any momentum we've developed so far, particularly deep down in our guts, you know, towards, you know, really wanting beings to be well. Directing that now out into the world like a sun, like a light, just illuminating the world. And as that light touches each being, it's saying to them, may you be well. You need to be well. This is what your life's about. Move towards it. Bringing to mind human beings of all sorts, races, gender, countries, non-human beings, animals, birds, fish, insects. Any being that we might come across. If we have this deep attitude in our gut, we're going to want them to be well. We're going to help them. We're going to encourage them. We're going to care for them. It's all going to be really practical. Though the Buddha talked about in the Karaniya Metta Sutta about the person full of metta being few wants, gentle in their speech, and capable. So we need to be able to bring things about. We will, if we really want something to happen. We'll train ourselves in doing that. We'll train ourselves in being able to bring well-being into the world. All beings are potentially Tathagatas, like the Buddha in a faded lotus flower, like honey covered by a swarm of bees, like the kernel of a fruit in the husk, like gold within impurities, like a treasure hidden in the soil, the fruit in a small seed, an image of the jinnah in tattered garments. So is this element established in beings who are covered with the stains of adventitious defilements. Just so the great sage, when he has seen the virtue in beings, sunk as they are in defilements, which are like filth, in order to cleanse off the mud of these defilements, rains down the rain of the Dharma on all that lives. The Dharma body should be known as twofold: the completely immaculate element of Dharma and its outpourings, the demonstration of the principle of Dharma in its depth and variety. Being immutable in its essential nature, lovely and pure, to a golden disk has this suchness been compared. The state of the self-existent can, in the ultimate sense, be approached only by faith, for those who have no eyes cannot see the blazing disk of the sun. So faith that happiness is possible, and it will be possible if we can really want it from deep within ourselves. We are part of the picture.